Coffee.
Hey,
Coffee! For the fans, if you want to know something about Kristina Klebe, coffee. Good, dark, strong coffee. With whole milk. That's how I like my coffee. Hi, I'm Kristina Klebe and I play Linda in the new Rob Zombie's Halloween. So for the first question here, I have Harold in West Hartford, Connecticut. So he says, how did you get the role of Linda in Halloween? Okay. First of all, I didn't know I was auditioning for Halloween. All I knew was that it was called the Untitled Rob Zombie Project. I also only knew that Rob Zombie was in a band called White Zombie. And when I looked up his photos on the internet, I didn't quite know what to expect, but I didn't quite think about that at the audition yet. So I went in, I had a meeting with an industry person earlier that afternoon, you know, showing him my stuff and kind of asking some advice. And he was like, I'm very sorry, but you know, you need much more development. You know, you're not ready for Hollywood. And I was like, I mean, he didn't quite say it in those words, but you know, people in Hollywood can be real jerks sometimes. Then are, you know, people are really nice. But so I was really upset when I left that meeting, and I had this audition afterwards, and I literally actually cried before I went into this audition. That's how upset I was. And I spoke to a friend of mine on the phone, and I said, you know, I have this audition, like I don't know what to do, like I don't feel ready to go in, I'm really upset. And he was like, Kristina, you just go in and do your job. He's like, you're an amazing actress, you just go. And this guy has nothing to do with the industry, he's a documentary filmmaker, a good friend of mine from school. And he was like, you just go and knock them dead, you know, you just go in there and do it. He's like, I know you're gonna be great. So I went in and I knew the casting director. I had auditioned for her a few times, so I felt comfortable in the room with her. And the part was written, you know, the signs I had, Linda was just such a foul-mouthed little girl. I mean, I was like, who is this girl? And so I just went in there and I channeled all this negative or, you know, kind of sad energy that I had, and I just channeled it into Linda. And I was like, I used every word on that page to its fullest extent, including the cunt word and the fuck word and assholes, and then I also killed myself on camera for the audition, which I'd never done before, but I figured I would just take it all the way. So in it, you know, in the scene it says Linda gets, you know, Michael Myers comes from behind and grabs her and like pulls her out of the room, which we then changed in the actual movie. So I just kind of like slapped myself in the face and like pushed myself, fell against the wall and like pretended I was dying. But it must have been pretty good because I know they cast me from the tape, from the audition tape. So that is, I think that was the question, right? How did you get the role of Linda? Well, I put all my energy into that audition, and Rob Zombie saw it, and he casts people from tape, so I guess he liked the tape. Kevin in Madison, New Jersey. Your role as Linda is a very iconic, beloved character from the original Halloween, and PJ Soles remains a very popular figure to Halloween fans. Were you nervous taking the role, knowing that you will be compared to her and under such scrutiny? First off, I didn't know I was auditioning for Halloween, like I said before, so I also had never watched the movie before I auditioned, and I also didn't really watch the movie before I finished shooting the part of Linda. So no, I didn't know how much of an iconic figure PJ Soles was. I did after we finished filming, and then I got really nervous, because if I had known before filming, I might have done a few things a little differently, although I'm not sure. Every actor, I think, has to create their own, you know, they have to come to the role as themselves, or how they see it, and create their own character of Linda, you know, or whoever it is that they're playing. But yeah, after we finished shooting and I started going online, and like all of a sudden MySpace became a really big thing, and you know, all these internet blogs, and I'm reading about PJ Soles, and I'm like, oh my god, like, you guys want something from me and I didn't even know it. Like, I'm like So yeah, I said, I think it asked, didn't it? Actually, that's the next question, but, so I hope that I live up to everyone's, expectations. The other night, I did have my first fan come up to me, even though the movie isn't even out yet. But I guess this guy had seen a test screening of Halloween a few weeks ago, and he came up to me at some club. It wasn't even a club, it's like a bar lounge place in LA. And he goes, "Are you Kristina?" It's like, "Are you Kristina Klebe?" I'm like, oh my god, my friends paid this guy. Like, they paid him to come up to me, because I was like, this cannot be happening. It's not even out yet. And he told me he saw the movie, and I asked him if he thought that us three girls, or like what he thought, how it came close, did we live up to the expectations? And he said, yes, totally. And he also, he specifically said, I totally thought you came up to the, to the PJ Souls character, like you were, totally lived up to the expectations. So that's only one person. You might all feel differently, but I hope it, I hope it's good. I hope you like it. Now I'm gonna have a sip of coffee. From Robert Rivera in Houston, Texas. I just was in Houston, Texas, unhappily so, because I got stranded at an airport in Dallas, Texas, and so I had to drive down. I got the last rental car. It was when the floods were going on in Dallas. And I got the last rental car, and I drove down to Houston, and I flew out of Houston, and I was at a mall there, at some big mall in Houston. It's my story about Houston. Robert's question is, being a huge fan of John Carpenter's Halloween, how does the Linda in Rob's version differ from the 1978 version, and do we expect to hear the totally word? Totally? Okay. Originally in the script, Linda says totally. In Rob Zombie's script. I cannot say how they're going to edit the movie. So do I know that it's all going to be in there? I have no idea. But I hope that every totally word is there for you guys. I unfortunately, like I said, I didn't know that it was such a big deal. If I had, I would have added a few more totallys in there. But there will be a few totallys. You just might have to listen for them. The new Linda, I think, is a little different. I mean, she is different definitely from PJ Souls' Linda. The script was very specific, the way that Rob wrote it. I mean, all the characters were, I think, much more intense in the sense of maybe not as girly as in the original, or kind of as cute. I mean, I think, having watched the original now, first of all, I love all of them. I mean, I met, I think Nancy Loomis, is it Nancy Loomis who played, who played Annie. And she is so, I mean, she was my favorite character. I loved her in that so much, that she just had that little sassy walk, and I like, anyway, so, I mean, and I love PJ Souls too, but I see, looking at them together, I think they had a great chemistry, just like we have a great chemistry in this script, but it's different. I think we're maybe a little bit more, I don't want to speak for anybody else, but I think my Linda is possibly a little bit more hard, or like kind of tough in a cute way than the original Linda. But I mean, like I said, Rob wrote the script. I think when you get you enact the character that you see on the pages of a script, and so I think I did what he wanted me to do.